the last like 8 years, I have made over 600 videos. Like, that's a lot of videos. And in some ways, I'm like shocked that I've made it this far. And in some ways, I'm like, oh my gosh, I feel like I should be further. 200,000 subscribers is a lot. But it's not like a lot when you've been doing this for 8 years and have over 600 videos. But then in some ways, I'm like, oh my gosh, I know tons of people who've been trying to do YouTube or doing YouTube for longer than me, who don't have the subscribers I have, or who haven't had the success that I've had. So it's such an interesting thing. And in a lot of ways, I feel like I'm just getting started. I feel like, okay, everything's kind of been an era. I had my faceless and also not really doing this to grow on YouTube era for 2016 and part of 2017. I had my, oh my gosh, I'm taking this seriously and I'm doing all of these how-to short videos era from 2017 through like 2019. Then I had my like, okay, we're really gonna make these videos fun and exciting while also being informational era in 2020, 2021, maybe even further than that. And for the last couple of years, I've been in my, I want to be more creative era. And so literally these eras have taken me throughout my YouTube journey in the last 8 years. And in a lot of ways, I feel like I'm just getting started, but I'm not. I'm here with 206,000 subscribers at the time that I'm filming this, 8 years under my belt, and 600 plus videos floating around on the YouTubes. So I have some things I can teach you. So how about a little what I've learned in my time on YouTube? Super important, valuable lessons. Let's go. Now, wait a minute. Before I get into this, I know y'all are going to ask where I get my sweatshirt, where I got my sweatshirt. Everybody always asks where I get my sweatshirt every time I wear this sweatshirt. And I wish I could tell you, and I'm not gatekeeping it. I ordered this on Etsy years ago now, like 2-3 years ago. It is embroidered, so it's like, you know, sewn in. It says YouTuber since 2016, and I've since cut the bottom off, so it's more of like a crop, and I absolutely love this sweatshirt. I ordered it from a shop who did custom embroidered sweatshirts on Etsy. They are no longer there. But here's the thing. You should be able to get something like this from anybody who offers custom embroidered sweatshirts on Etsy. So the company, the person that I ordered from the quality was good. Customer service and delivery was terrible. So I didn't want to share them when I did get it. Then they went out of business. So go on Etsy and type in custom embroidered sweatshirt and then have them put YouTuber and whatever else you want on it. And you can also have one like mine. All right, so here's the deal. You have to be in this for the long haul. Like, I bet if any lesson that I've learned on YouTube from 600 videos, from 8 years, from 200,000 subscribers, if I could nail down one thing, if this video is just over after this point, it would be that you have to be in this for the long haul. You have to be prepared for it to take a long damn time for you to get where you want to go. You have to be prepared for this to be a thing 5 years from now, 10 years from now, 20 years from now. Like, you have to be prepared for that. And it may not be. You may be able to grow really, really, really fast, and in 2 years, you decide that YouTube is not right for you, but you're going to use that audience that you just built to do something else. You could totally do that. I mean, there's plenty of examples of people who've done that, right? But overall, if you want to be a YouTuber, if you want this to be a full-time thing, you have to be prepared to buckle in and have it like be a thing for a really long time. I was actually just having a conversation with someone in my like real life, and this person was like, I would love to do what you do. I'd love to make the videos. I just don't know that I can be consistent. I just don't know that I can like be in it, you know? And I was like, then don't do it. Because if you cannot be consistent and you are not in it for the long haul, then you are not going to be successful. You have to love it. You really, really do. You have to love it. And I didn't know getting into it that I was going to love it. So some of you watching may start YouTube and then be like, this is not for me. Some of you may already know you don't love it, But some of you may be like, I think I love it. Let's try it out. But if you love it, then you have to be consistent and you have to keep going for like the long haul, or it's just not going to work. I have seen people, coached people, talked to people who will start on YouTube and then dip off and then come back and then dip off and then come back and then go away. And that is just not how it works. It's just not. You just have to love it and you have to be ready to commit a lot of time to it. And in that same conversation where I was talking to that person, I was like, yeah, then don't do it if you don't think you're going to love it or you don't think you can be consistent. I was also like, listen, I've done 1 to 2 videos a week for 8 years. 8 years. That is a long damn time, you know? And yes, there have been a handful, literally a handful of times, maybe 2 handfuls, where I didn't release a video in a week or something like that in 8 years. In 8 years. So like maybe 1 time a year, I don't release a video for a week. Like it has been hella consistent. And you have to be ready to do that for a long time to get where you want to be. Not everybody is going to like you or agree with you or be with you through this journey. And odds are they'll probably tell you about it in the comments. I both love and hate YouTube comments because I love being able to connect with y'all. But at the same time, they can be nasty. I've had some nasty comments like about my weight, about my appearance, about the way I talk, about me as a whole, but also about the information I'm sharing and, you know, about like how I suck or the quality of my videos or like whatever. You are not going to please everyone on the internet, but it's also something you have to be okay with if this is a thing you're wanting to do, you know? And so for me, 600 videos deep, I think my like takeaway here is that not everybody's going to like what you're putting on the internet, and that's a good thing, but you have to develop thick skin to be able to deal with that because it kind of sucks, and it's not fun to read hateful or nasty comments about yourself. And my take on this has always been and will always be, I know that that person leaving that nasty comment is probably living in their mama's basement at 35 years old. And that's what I have to do. I have to just picture that. Like, they just told me that I sucked and that the information I just shared was terrible. And they're probably eating a peanut butter sandwich in their underwear in their mama's basement, not doing shit. So there's that. Because, BT dubs, a fellow creator is not going to talk to you like that. They're not going to be like, oh, you suck and everything you do sucks and I hate you so much, because they know the work that goes into it. The people who don't are going to be the people who make bad comments. It just is what it is. Thumbnails are so farking important. Farking is my new like pseudo cuss word. I've said it a lot lately. But thumbnails are where it's at. Thumbnails are a huge deal. Thumbnails are the biggest of the deals because I say this in a lot of the videos where I teach thumbnails or I talk about thumbnails, but if you cannot get someone to click on your video, if they scroll on by it, if they're like, video served to me in my face and I say no, then how the hell are you going to get all of the rest of the analytics? You're not. So thumbnails are so important because they are what make people want to click on the video. Them paired with the title make people want to click on the video. And I wish I would have known this 600 videos ago, you know? My thumbnails have never been terrible. I've always been someone who understood the power of thumbnails, but I understand it even more now. And of course, hindsight's 2020. So hopefully my hindsight can be your foresight and you can make banger thumbnails from the very beginning. You need to be niched. Like your channel needs to be niched, but not in topic, in person. Who is watching your channel? Who's going to want to watch the next video? Who's going to enjoy every video that you put out? Who are those people that are going to come back every single time? Who do you want to talk to? That's your niche, and that's hella important. But niching down by topic ain't it, okay? You should not be only talking about one thing or one topic, even from the beginning, because of a lot of reasons. And trust me, I did this. So this is the point. I've learned from this, and now you don't have to, okay? Number 1, you're gonna get really burnt out talking about the same thing over and over and over and over and over again. And we want to try to avoid burnout because refer to number 1 when I said you have to be in this for the long haul. Number 2, your subscribers are not going to want to watch video after video after video about the same dang thing. They're going to be like, oh, I've already seen this 4 times. I don't need to see it again. And number 3, that is setting up a channel that is only successful in search and is not the way to grow on YouTube. So you need to niche, but you need to niche by the who, not the what. And going back to my opening line of this video where I talked about my different eras, you are going to morph and change and shift so much throughout your channel's like duration. That is okay. That is awesome. That is spectacular. Because we as people change, right? Like I'm not the same person now that I was 8 years ago. There are some things where like I'll even have like memories on Facebook pop up and I'm like, who the hell was I? I don't know. I like that's very different from who I am now. And I think that's really funny. Even though I think I'm the same person I've always been, there's things in our lives that are gonna change. I am not the same person with more freedom because my kids are older than I was with toddlers at home. I'm not the same person now loving where I live and living where I want to live and, you know, doing all of these things as I was when I was miserable where we were living. I was not the same person then who was like struggling to make, you know, a little bit of money here and there as I am now with 2 full-time employees and an actual business. Not to mention all of the other things that make me a very different person now than I was 8 years ago, 5 years ago, 4 years ago, whatever. Heck, COVID changed all of us, right? I'm a different person now than I was 4 years ago because of COVID. And you're going to shift and you're going to change and you're going to morph. And that is okay. That's great. Because the people that are here, you know? And as you shift and you change and you morph, the new people, the people who want to be here, the people who find you in each phase of you will come to you in that phase. And if we just stayed the same person that we are for 8 years or 2 years or 5 years or like whatever, that would be really boring content. Like even let's take like a lifestyle vlogger, for example, because that ain't me, but like let's say it was, right? A lifestyle vlogger who started vlogging at 19 years old in college. And then let's say 8 years later, this person maybe graduated college, but lives life just like a college kid still and vlogs about the same things she used to vlog about 8 years ago. You're gonna get bored. There's gotta be character development. The vlogging example is really easy to kind of see because obviously we would not be vlogging about the same things in 8 years that we are today. However, this is what so many people in like the how-to niches or the like technical teaching niches, this is what they try to do. And that's when they fizzle out because you can't do that. You can't start on YouTube in 2016 like I did and be doing like how-to videos about tech and systems and blah, 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 and marketing and all of this stuff and still be covering the same topics 8 years later and expect people to still be around. They've probably got bored with you. They got bored with the topic, whatever. We've got to mold and shift and change and evolve with our content. And it's also kind of cool to be able to look back on and be like, oh, wow, how different was I at this point in my life than I am now? Even like hairstyles or camera quality or the way I talk. Like this is the way I talk, like BT dubs. For the last several years, I've definitely talked the way I talk on the internet. And I feel like I always have, but looking back at my very first videos, I was like very like stiff and very like enunciative. I would make sure that I like enunciated my words more than normal. If I go back and watch those videos now, I'm like, wow, I was so like stiff and such a different person. And I was afraid to be myself fully on the internet. I am going to show you my setup for recording videos. Now I'm doing this today because I am so freaking excited. I just got a new camera and I still enunciate because sometimes in my real life I just, you know, Like, blah, 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 blah. And on the internet, you probably should understand me better than me having to like repeat myself 4 times. And I know that a lot of y'all aren't Southerners listening to me or watching me. And so I'll pick words out of my vocabulary, or I'll explain them, or I'll enunciate them better because I know they sound funny, you know? But for the most part, the Jessica you get now is so much more authentic than the Jessica you got 8 years ago. I mean, I honestly can't even believe I've created 600 videos, to be honest. Plus, 600 plus videos, because I've deleted videos, I've unpublished videos, I have videos on other channels. I've created a metric poop ton of content. And the reason that it's worth it, again, I love it. I do. I love creating content. I love hanging out with you guys here. I love all of this. But also, I have videos from 5 years ago still paying my bills. I am asked to speak at conferences and asked to be guest on podcasts because of my presence on YouTube. I have met some of my best friends in this whole world because of YouTube. And when you love something and the positives are like way, way, way more than the negatives, that's when you keep doing it for 8 years and more. Like I told somebody the other day, like, I don't know when I'll stop YouTube. I'll probably be like some granny creator. Like, come over here, sillies, and come watch my garden with me. So maybe some of y'all will be here by the time I'm gardening for fun. Which, by the way, does that come at a certain age? Because I don't, it ain't me. I don't even know how to keep flowers alive. So, for those of you that have been with me for 8 years, thanks for being here. For those of you that have been with me for 2 years, thanks for being here. Maybe you just found me a couple weeks ago. Thanks for being here. Here's to many more years of the shifts and the change and the eras. Because I can tell you one thing for certain, and that is that I'm here for the long haul. Bye, y'all.